Today, we are going to take a look at the Bogner Ecstasy 50 watt versus the Bogner Ecstasy 35 watt. They are both called Ecstasy 3534, but very easily you can tell the difference between them because this grill cloth is always this sort of tan for the 50 and it's always black for the 35 watt. All of the knobs and layout are identical on these amps. They're both running EL34 power tubes. That's where the 34 number comes from. Reinhold says that the 50 watt is voiced a little more like those original Ecstasy like 100As. The early ones less compressed, more vintage, more woody, and then this is a little more modern, easier under the fingers, although they both are super easy under the fingers, but just a little more gain on tap, always there, ready for you, for sort of the modern guy. But I guess that depends on how you define modern, because a lot of modern guys are like not gainy. Anyway, the overarching characteristic is more modern and more vintage, if you will. For the opening song, I used both heads, one on the left and one on the right, but for this, I am also going to show it to you exclusively all 50 watt and then all 35 watt. And we'll just do back and forth, and I hope it all makes sense for you. Quick technical setup. Both of these amps are running into their own Fryette power load or power station. I always set the bright to the highest one, and I set the warm setting to the middle one. It sounds the closest to the load on my 412 cabinet. The power station and the power load have the identical load box, so we're 1-to-1 there. And then it's going into the DAW, and I'm applying an IR there. So we're hearing the exact same thing. It's not separate cabinets and things like that. Let's go. Dialing in heavy tones, it's quickly apparent that the 35 watt has much more cut and bite, whereas the 50 is a lot thicker and rounder, maybe deeper, if you will. So I dialed them in separately, but I'll show you what they sound like at identical settings. For the 50 watt, I used the boost to get a little extra gain as well. So here is the 50. You know, a little thick. I also have bright 1 on this channel 3, the bright switch. So it gets bitey. You just have to kind of push it. Now let's jump over to the 35 watt. This is the setting I had. Already it's got a lot more upper mid cut. And this I just had in the standard bright setting. I didn't have B1 or B2 activated. If I go to B1, it is metal-tastic. This is a heavy tone. Yeah, super heavy. Let me put them at the exact same settings and you'll get an idea of really what's happening. All right, I've got them set up with the identical controls. Here's the 50 watt. Here's the 35 watt. Huge difference, really. The 50 is round and less gainy, more woody and classic. The 35 watt, it still has that woody Bogner thing, but it's definitely more biting. That's channel 3. Cranking up the gain, here's the 35 watt. Here's the 50. Pretty significant difference. Okay, channel 2, 50 watt. Now the 35 watt. So again, pretty significant EQ difference on the settings. The 50 watt always, strangely, 50 watt is quieter. The 35 watt is always sort of more in your face and pushed. Here I have the bright on the 50 and not the bright, again, on the 35 watt. Here are the channel 2s set roughly identical. The 35 has a little more beef to it. It still feels a little more aggressive, maybe a little more scooped, shall we say? The 50. The 50 has a much more forward and warm mid-range. Both amps in the Ecstasy tradition are very malleable, so you can push the more aggressive 35 into a warmer, more retro vibe, and you can push the 50 out of the retro vibe into the more modern thing if you like. But their inherent state is definitely more mid-forward and woody, maybe vintage, less compressed, and this is a little more compressed, scooped, modern, shall we say. Let's check out channel 1. Channel 1, 50 watt. In this case, the 50 watt is louder and the 35 watt isn't as loud. I'm guessing if you get all the way maxed out, the 50 watt's going to be louder in all cases, but I think in bedroom volumes, the 50 watt actually kind of is quieter. Strange, but I've seen that before where 50s are quieter than even like a 20 at lowest volumes. It is a thing, I guess. Here is that clean. To get these to sound similar, I had to have the bright switch on the 35, no bright switch on the 50. But generally, both are fantastic clean. I've been a huge fan of the Bogner cleans for ages. That Bogner Fish preamp, one of the most big, beautiful clean sounds you could find. Really awesome. So that's it. Bogner Ecstasy 3534, both versions of that, and they also still make the 100 watt version, which is absolute holy grail amp. I would say go check their website. There's no website, and there probably won't be a website for a while. The Bogner folks are busy making amps and fulfilling orders, so that's a good thing. You know, they're just like, it's a small boutique company. They make awesome stuff, and then they build it. And it's videos like this, how you find out details about Bogner amps. So thank you to Reinhold Bogner for loaning me these, because, I'm just having the Bognerific time with these. They're so awesome. And more to come. Click like and subscribe, if you like Bogner amps. Thanks for watching. See you later.